Hello and welcome to Beacon Space here with Unrestricted Lorefare. I'm your host, Witchmaster98, and let's go ahead and switch scenes here. I've been joined today by my illustrious co-host, BBTV anchor Helbreck.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's I'm sure it'll be a great stream today.
We have lots of exciting content to look forward to.
Of course. 1 second, I'm going to switch my name so that I'm appropriately... oh, that one still doesn't put me above you. Oops. In the channel list, because now our names don't line up with whose text line are with who.
True, the dangers of new technology.
1 second, I'll fix that. I forgot you were gonna switch your names, your name, the stream in Discord. So don't mind me as I just try not to break everything in the process. So I want to move this over here. I'm going to move Cal's captions up above, and we want to move mine back there. Great.
BBTV, of course, always professional and prepared.
There. I think it's all fixed. Oh yes. Now the captions actually appear by the person who's speaking. So Calbrick's captions appear above his little voice bubble from Discord, and mine appear below, as they should. We'll just ignore the fact that it's my character art above Calbrick's text quotes and move on for lack of wanting to spend another 5 minutes trying to fix that in OBS.
That's alright, everybody knows I'm stuck in the studio anyway, so it couldn't be me.
Fair enough. Always wonderful to be able to take advantage of bartending in and on the TTGI station. Anyway, if you're new here and don't know what's going on, welcome to Unrestricted Lorefare in our setting up Beacon Space, our sci-fi futuristic setting, set in some galaxy, some distance away from wherever Earth is in relationship to it, as we sort of see what the world is like for the individuals living in it. We run a weekly faction turn, or wow, weekly. Oof, that would be a lot. We run a monthly faction turn, and then a monthly lore stream. And you're tuning into the lore stream right now, where we can catch up on what's happened in fiction with your two hosts here, as we go over all of the different lore that's been created. To the side of the screen right now, you can see the rotating panel of faction logos. These are our 9 primary characters on the faction turn level that take turns producing orders once per month, and some of them have submitted some different lore that we'll be going over today in more detail. With that, I think that's everything. Did I miss anything in the introduction that you wanted to add, Calbrick?
I don't think so. I think we're ready to get into it.
Great. Well, then we'll go ahead and get started off with our faction announcements, starting with our favorite hosts, and assistant anchors and journalists from the Children of the Vein. They have provided a news report from us from Chaz Gusto Prime, who has returned after a month away, um, dealing with some personal business, as I understand it. Let's tune in to their report and see what all they got up to.
Hello, Beacon Space. This is your favorite reporter, Chaz Gusto Prime, returning to you with the latest. Apologies for my absence from the last report, but we have a big scoop for you today, everyone. Of course, all the details were verified by insider sources over the past month. First, an update on the reopening of the TELUS governing office. Under the leadership of Administrator Cardinal Olive Blanche, many TELUS civil departments are being restructured to service the demands of a larger population and reduce the wait time for everybody. This effort is reportedly planned to take a full year to completely implement, but first, the goal is court planning and justice reform. Unfortunately for BBT anchor L. Kalbreck, this has resulted in shorter wait times for court dates, with his court appearance now being rescheduled to a few months from today. Sorry, bud. Some of our TELUS fans may have noticed the arrival of a large contingent of Vane Bioshell infantry. We here in the studio would like to assure our viewers that there is nothing to fear as Vane forces rest and recuperate following the recent actions over Moss, with some bioshell infantry pilots offering aid in recent excavation efforts on planet. And some very exciting news for our listeners across Beacon Space. It appears that these very same Vane infantry volunteers managed to uncover and activate vital logistic hub for the Lacquer Gate network, with a reported 200% speed up and transit efficiency improvement across the sector core, resulting in a 40% reduction in transit costs for tourism and trade. I, for one, will be booking a trip to Icaros for the holidays. Look to see you all there. Finally, the story you, my loyal listeners, have been waiting for. An update on my report on the Children of the Vein medical clinics here on TELUS, and the reason for my recent absence. In my pursuit of truth, justice, and journalistic honor, I went digging for answers, and answers I did find, listeners. Over the course of my investigations, I managed to uncover a worrying pattern of political banding, power brokering surrounding the sudden Vane takeover of TELUS. Government officials and wealthy elites quickly folding to Vane demands and pressure, with the web of influence concentrated on these new clinics. So, naturally, I went undercover using one of my many well-crafted aliases to infiltrate one of these clinics as a patient. But what happened next shocked me to my core, listeners. During a routine checkup, Vane medical technicians were able to detect a rare disease known as Friedley sickness in my blood. Friedley sickness, dear listeners, is an exceptionally rare genetic disorder that causes a period of intense and debilitating nausea, pain, and discomfort that could last weeks following a hyperdrive, warp, or gate jump. This illness is the primary reason that I've remained on TELUS for so many years. This disorder is incredibly rare, and rare that it took normal medical practitioners 6 years of testing and analysis to even diagnose, a source of no small amount of stress and suffering in my personal life, listeners. I digress. However, the medical experts in the vein managed to detect this illness in a matter of hours with no prior knowledge of my medical history or records, and offered an as of yet unheard of remedy for this disease, an advanced gene therapy procedure unlike anything else offered across Beacon Space. So, I eagerly accepted the offer to rid myself of this disease, And after some weeks of medical procedures and the recovery of which took me away from the desk last cycle, I can happily report that the procedure was a success. And as proof of this wonder, I can reveal that I am reporting to you live from Moss today, listeners. The first time I've left Stellus in years, and I am feeling splendid. So, what was the big mystery behind the rapid takeover of Tellus? In short, miracles. And with that, I would like to announce BBTV's newest sponsor, the New Eden Gene Bank. If you need to fund your next life altering procedure, please visit your local New Eden branch for a quick and painless evaluation. And that concludes our sector report for this cycle. What exciting new changes and miracles are yet to come for the sector? As always, tune in for the latest information with amazing accuracy. This is Chaz, Gusto Prime, healthier than ever, blipping out.
Thank you, Chaz, for that report, and congratulations on your reporting from Moss today, even with that rare disease, which was not known to both BBTV anchors here.
Yes, well done on your swift recovery, and thank you to the Children of the Vein for saving one of our most intrepid and thorough reporters who always manages to bring up my personal life.
Well, I do apologize about your court date moving, but I digress. Perhaps we should only share what you're willing to on this broadcast.
I am not looking forward to my court date. My lawyer says I have slim to none chances.
Oof, quite a disappointment. Our next faction report today comes to us from the Algomala Syndicate, where another one of their tourism boards is being promoted today. They are promoting the planet of Gome, including the catchphrase, "There's no place like Gome," which has been brought to you by the Gomes Board of Tourism and the Algomala Syndicate.
BBTV thanks all of our sponsors, including the Aguamala Syndicate Tourist Board, the New Eden branch of the Gene Clinic, and of course our sponsors at Pigeon Messaging. There's no place like Gome, a holiday for the ages.
All of the sponsors of our broadcast are deeply appreciated, as their support keeps us on the air and management afloat.
And of course, BBTV is strictly neutral and does not edit our reporting based on who is sponsoring us. That said, I think Gome is the best place to visit in the galaxy. What do you think?
I'm sure it would be a vacation that would take us to new heights and would be sure to bring about some freezing cold adventures. And in fact, you can get there even easier today, as I believe one of our later reports tells us about the increased availability of transit across the sector, making it even cheaper to travel from Tellus or anywhere else in the sector to Gome.
Wow, so many amazing reasons to book your visit to Gome today.
Just visit the Gomes Board of Tourism or the Agomala Syndicate Outreach Center on the TTGI station later today. We thank the Agomala Syndicate for their wonderful poster presentation of advertising Go, and we'll move right along to our next faction announcement today, which comes to us from, it comes to us from the Assembled Commonwealth, but it actually was selected by me as I saw some cool artwork that they were working on internally over the some of the ships designs that were in progress for the Assembled Commonwealth, and got permission from the artist Kato to share some of them on stream today. So we'll be
Yep,
going over a few of these.
speaking of transit, these ships are a superb way to carry large amounts of military forces swiftly and efficiently across the galaxy.
It's quite an effective way. The Aurora, potentially Aurora class, as a reminder to everyone watching these images are still works in progress, and some of them were early drafts. So some of this could officially change when the lore pages are updated on the wiki, but this Aurora class heavy cruiser seems to pack quite a complement of both marines and firepower.
I'm sure any target that sees that out of their spaceport windows is quaking in their boots.
Quite. We could also take a look at the Victory class fleet carrier, which, if we thought that heavy carrier had a sizable number of marines on board, this one has even more. Not to mention even some additional fighter ships as well.
This ship is perfect for conducting a land war in space.
Should that ever be necessary. Then we can also take a look at some of the early concepts for several of the ship art as the assets were being designed. This one here is a good example of that, along with the slightly updated version of the Aurora that we saw earlier. And then also Hado, whose Discord name I can find in full to make sure they get appropriate credit, also worked on a series of different potential configurations of light cruisers, frigates, everything that you may see in a complete fleet from the assembled Commonwealth.
There's an awesome amount of detail on these, including the livery of the assembled Commonwealth. I'm sure that those limes are as safe as any product in the galaxy.
For sure. So we thank Commodore James Cato or Scorpip on Discord for all this amazing artwork, and can't wait to see the fleets of the Commonwealth come together in full over the coming months.
Yeah, it's very impressive work, and we appreciate the effort that went into it.
Absolutely. Now our next report wraps up all of the faction announcements from this turn. Relatively short on that regard, but that's fine. We have plenty of other content to get through. Excuse me, we have, in fact, here on TCGI Station, which Calbrek, I'm sure the visit you spent here last week, you were able to see head chef Gabriella Aravin's newly refurbished restaurant of Aravin's Aromatics and Ailments pop up and finish its renovations. Did you see that she's going to be introducing a new menu to the restaurant?
I did, and I had the privilege of her breaking in some of the equipment in my new kitchen, and I'm excited to see the new food items that she has to offer us. It's already a culinary adventure.
Sure, it is quite to be one as she's looking to bring in elements from all over the sector. We've got a few important dishes and or drinks that have been rumored to be featured on her upcoming menu that BBTV is lucky to be reporting on. First off, from the Tahora Fai, there's a drink called the Toto Ora. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is a fortified wine distilled from the blood of the great Dahora, usually mulled with spices and often spiked with various cheap and crude alcohols. No two batches are the same, varying widely between brewers. While serving, each club has a slightly different characteristic as they are poured, as well as drinkers are encouraged to add their preferred garnishes and last-minute spices to their cups. The last serving of any batch is generally saved to start the next batch. It will be quite interesting to see how Aravenda takes on serving Toto Ora in her upcoming restaurant.
Next
Like,
up, we oh,
go ahead.
next up we have charcuterie, which is also known as kehikari or kohoikari delia in some Dainian dialects. Charcuterie is a shared feast or potluck, which is presented when you have a successful voyage or when the five meet each other in the depths of space. They combine their pantries of traditional Dainian delicacies and plundered cargo. Small, bite-sized dishes allow the whole crew to share the meal and exchange stories of their travels. Specific ingredients are, of course, subject to availability. No two charcuteries are the same, but common bites include spam musabi, head cheese crostini, blubber cookies and shortbreads, grilled whale kebab, lomi lomi, which is a salmon bowl, lamb meatballs, and pico pico fern salad, all of which are delicious.
Tell me, Albrecht, how was your most recent charcuterie board prepared by Aravind? As I did hear you got an early sneak peek of some of these dishes.
I had an early sneak peek, but we were out of butter, which made some of the dishes less rich than they would be in a traditional dine-in feast, but it was very enjoyable nevertheless.
Quite disappointing. We'll have to make sure the shipment of butter arrives on station and appropriately get some commandeered for you. We also seem to have found some of the initial inspiration for the Larkspur Combine dishes that will be present on Arven's menu. We've got appear to have a quote from, or a small story of some bit from the Larkspur Combine that we'll be reporting for you now. The Sunday evenings in Larkspur Combine are full of laughter, love, and good food. They are the author's favorite memories. I remember when I was a wee little girl, Nona would take my hand and let me make the spice mix for her stews. Sundays here on Moss are a time for families to gather and enjoy each other's company to a long work week. From a young age, children are taught that Sundays are for family, blood, or chosen. We gather to feast on various hearty comfort foods, and we swap stories of our weeks to get a little bit tipsy on the old mossy cranapple brandy, which I hear is quite delicious. The youngins play various games of make-believe, like Cops and Mobsters, or Dear Deer and Hell Pig. We pray as our family after supper, and then we watch the latest courthouse drama, Larkspur Outlaw Brigade. Other families make dishes and watch other shows and play different games, but the key is we all sit down and spend time with those we call family. It's my favorite part about Mossian culture, and I take that piece of home with me wherever I go. My crew loves our Sunday evening meals, makes them feel truly like they too are part of the family. Here you can have a modified version of Nana Stew recipe, which is guaranteed to make every Mossy native on Tellus dying to have some good home cooking. Attached to this short story and reminder about the recipe is an entire recipe to make a true Mossian stew. Aravent will sure have her entire dish quite prepared with all of this information.
Truly a traditional dish. It has a lot of heritage, a lot of emotion involved. It's more of an experience than just a meal.
Perhaps the mossy section of Araven's aromatics will be happy to have the same hospitality that one might find right in Moss.
Yes, no one is allowed their own table. You have to sit together. You have to engage and be a part of the family.
Hopefully, the such traditions will be incredibly safe given some of the current quarantining measures on the station, but I'm sure Aravent will find a way to make it succeed.
Next up, we have submissions from the Aguamala Syndicate. There's no place like Gome. Tequila is the primary drink that the Aguamala Syndicate and the Nueva Cuemtoc is known for, with a number of the syndicate's lodges creating variants whose exact makeup is a well-guarded secret. Mixed drinks in general are very popular, with significant events often including the creation of a unique tequila mix or preparation to memorialize the occasion. Now, moving from beverages, most of their significant dishes use ingredients from the space fauna that the Aguamala Syndicate is well known for hunting. Handheld food like wraps and hand pies are popular as they allow for convenient eating on the go, essential for workers that are on the job. With larger and more lavish, more detailed, more slowed down meals enjoyed in the downtime. Ascitan soups are especially popular as of late. The soups are served in bowls fashioned from the bony carapace that covers the disc-shaped creature. They are harvested from where they cling to asteroids and sometimes the surface of spacecraft. These soups are often characterized by the vegetables used, with more expensive preparations including a greater variety of vegetables.
Can't wait to see Erwin's take on such a various versions of this soup. And I am looking forward to the Nueva Guatemala tequila being back in stock to serve at the bar on station, as the availability has been declining in recent months due to shipping issues. Hopefully, the restoration of the transit network will be able to assist in that.
Yes, issues is definitely the way to describe it. Often ordered, and I'm not allowed to drink any of the stock anymore, given, the incidents, but serving it is always a joy.
As the Calvert Canal does find itself currently backed up.
Yes.
Finally, today, I believe our last remaining news piece has to do with this gate transit network that we've been talking about all stream, along with the introduction of it by Chaz earlier. This broadcast center system, whoa, excuse me. Let me start over on that report. I've confused two sentences together. As reported by Chaz earlier in this broadcast, the center system has seen an increased availability of space travel through the gate network due to the reactivation of some ancient systems on Tellus by Children of the Vein volunteers. Early media reports from the planet do indicate that this underground complex used to be a hub of transit throughout the sector, but its history has been long lost to the glitch.
It's unclear how this increased travel access is going to impact the sector at large, especially given the push for exploration, but all I know is that I won't be able to use it.
Quite unfortunate. I hope you get back to traveling the cosmos soon, especially as sector commerce does seem to be on the rise, with Stardust shipping ticker on the Idarast stock charts seeing a sharp increase. Other ventures are soon to follow this increased availability of trading routes. Hey, Calberg, you have to wonder if Stardust Shipping Management had some inside scoop on the reactivation of this transit assistant, given their uh, availability right away as the transit lanes increased capacity.
There should be some kind of phrase to describe trading on insider information.
It's just on the tip of my tongue, but unfortunately, I can't come up with it today.
It's not important. It's not like the courts would find them guilty anyway. Sorry,
That's
did I
quite
say that out
true.
loud?
I'm I'm hearing from production that did go out on broadcast. We didn't manage to cut the audio out in time.
Disregard my previous statements. The
We'll con-
courts are just.
we'll consider it formally retracted. I'm sure that all of the judges on the TTGI station will rule fairly. It does production is, however, letting me know we have. It sounds like our affiliate from the assembled Commonwealth's planet of Idaras, the Commonwealth Daily, has some new shocking details being reported. It seems like reporter Mungo has managed to acquire some confidential documentation from within the Commonwealth Internal Security Office. Seems like production's been briefed by legal that we're good to share the document on screen, even though it says confidential right on the 10. Let's uh let's uh let's get that up online.
It's okay, I can't get in any more trouble than I already am.
I suppose that's one way to look at it. Yes, quite. It seems as if this Commonwealth Internal Security memo directed to the Seven of Home. Right, just give me a moment to read this out on stream here. It's the first time we're seeing this information. There's a heading, an assessment of the Sinwen controversy and its effects on domestic stability, the inciting incident. 11 days ago, The Assembly started the vote on a new law that would reform education by granting the Assembly more control over schools' curriculum and funding access across the Commonwealth. Debate continued for 4 days, yet still no decision could be made. The only outlier was Lucien Plescher, a representative from Borgen. Plescher was an infrequent attendee to the Assembly, but was persuaded to attend in order to break the deadlock. On his way to Assembly, however, Plescher's grav limo was involved in an accident. A malfunction in the thrusters led to the limo crashing, and Plescher was left in a coma. With the vote unable to be completed, the Assembly implored the city of Borgen to find a replacement. Now we hit another heading of the Senwin controversy. Bjorgen was involved in an old section of city-state's Borgen invoked an old section of the city-state's constitution, allowing a member of the royal family of the Commonwealth to take temporary governorship. Eighth-King Senwin accepted the position and entered the assembly as a full-fledged member. BBTV reports that the first time a member of the royal family has been granted a spot on the assembly. Never mind, back to the paper. She was quickly ended the deadlock and voted to enact the educational reforms. Sinwin's intervention was extremely controversial. The opposition to the reform has decried her actions as unbecoming of a royal family member and declared the process as undemocratic. In contrast, those who voted in favor of the law stated that Sinwin was doing the job the assembly requested and claimed the opposing representatives were overreacting. Both sides have brought their grievances into the public eye with a multitude of interviews, debates, and speeches. The media circus has fueled growing civil unrest over the Sinwin controversy. The wide exposure resulted in both factions within the assembly, pro-intervention led by the King herself, and other anti-intervention led by the Representative Douglas Lange, greatly bolstering the ranks of their supporters. Our analysis believe Senwen has been fanning the flames of this conflict by persuading her advocates to be more outspoken than usual. Reports have her speaking to several representatives shortly before them giving inflammatory speeches or interviews. This office, the Commonwealth Internal Security Office, may not know her ultimate goal, but her actions have only worsened the divide between the two factions, which has now spread to the general population. Reports of unrest. Currently, there haven't been any significant disruptions to public order, but our analysts believe this is only the beginning. Small-scale demonstrations in Naihan against Thinwin's intervention were met by counter-demonstrations. Law enforcement has been able to maintain calm, but is the opinion of the CISO that it is only a matter of time until the tensions erupt. Media outlets are becoming more biased in their reporting with every passing day, as they have started to decide who to support. While the effect may not be immediate, we believe that they will embolden the supporters of each side as the outlets become de facto propaganda centers for the two factions. Most worrying of all has been this large number of reported meetings between faction members and various influential members of Commonwealth society, such as different local leaders, guild masters, and even military officials. The CISO recommends the Seven and Home enact the early stages of the Civil Defense Protocol, ordering local law enforcement to begin preparation for a state of emergency. CISO will begin monitoring larger groups, building up intelligence on potentially dangerous groups. There are now analysts believe the Assembly representatives have lost control of the situation, and events will continue to spiral out of control despite the increasing number of pleas for calm. Though it is possible that with intervention from the King or Representative Lange, de-escalation could occur within the more moderate subgroups, and outbreaks of violence or conflict could be avoided. This appears to be signed by one Anthony Curtis, a deputy director for the head of Intelligence Analyst and Planning Department. I need to remind all of our viewers that this document is considered confidential and top secret within the Commonwealth.
We here at BBTV encourage all of our viewers to pay attention to their emergency broadcast networks, stay advised, keep watching the news for the latest updates, and please stay safe. Our viewership numbers do not need to hit.
Not at all. And hopefully we'll be able to get more reporting from reporter Mungo from the Commonwealth Daily as this progresses.
This is especially scary considering the ship designs that we examined earlier. Do spaceships cause violence?
We will have to find out. That said, I do believe, well, I believe that finishes interrupting the Tellus ruin spot, which unfortunately we've run out of time to go back and finish up that piece. I'm sure any of the increased transit from it will be more than seen over the upcoming months.
Especially given it's a transit hub, I'm sure people will have little difficulty traveling to it to examine it for themselves.
Very reasonable. And we did get interrupted there, but I'm told that Erwind actually has one remaining faction, number of entrees and drinks to review that we missed in our section earlier. Perhaps we should jump back to cover the portion of the Children of the Vein.
Oh, I do apologize.
Yeah, so we'll start off with the Epoch, which is a wine of theirs served in a freshly harvested flower from which it is produced. The Epoch flowers are genetically modified flowers that produce a highly potent nectar wine within the fluted form of the flower when each flower reaches maturity. The wine spoils rapidly when removed from the flower and will sour when frozen. Excuse me. It is for this reason that the epoch flowers are normally grown on site where the drinks are to be served. It is common for many Heliositis event halls and a select number of high-end establishments to maintain a garden or greenhouse of epoch flowers. The taste, potency, and quality of the wine are strongly influenced by the caretaking and health of the flower. The healthier the flower, the greater the richness and potency of the drink. The aroma, flavor, and richness of the wine can also be augmented by cross-pollination with other flowers using a unique species of pollinating insects native to Heliositis known as the Hemoapoidea, ap- apoida, something like that, which are known for the production of a special form of honey known as Helo's Delight. Due to the quality of the product and the difficulty of maintaining and producing the wine, the cost of a single serving of the drink is generally considered prohibitively expensive for the average beacon space traveler outside of Heliositis. Epoch wine is often served during formal events and ceremonies, though not exclusively. And I believe they
If
have a
you are
second drink if you are that will be on the menu if you're interested in introducing that Kelbrick.
Yes, if you don't have much of a taste for wine, but you still would like a sweet alcoholic beverage, they have to offer ambrosia mead, which is made from a special form of Helo's Delight honey harvested from the Hemo Apoida hive. Helo's Delight is normally utilized in the creation of a variety of sweets, sauces, and candies. However, when a hive is successfully introduced to an environment of epoch flowers and their much sought after nectar, a hive's production of Helo's Delight will be naturally altered into the production of ambrosia mead in the place of the regular honey these insects are known for. The taste and quality of the mead produced can be influenced by the selection of another flower species in the range of the hive. For example, a sweeter ambrosia will often have more orchid species in the range, while one may find beds of cosmos flowers near a hive that produces a more bitter form of the mead. The controlled production of ambrosia is difficult and costly due to the knowledge, skills, time, and labor required to maintain both epoch flowers and healthy Hemoapoidea hives within a shared environment. But if the environment can be effectively maintained, caretakers will be rewarded with a steady and constant production of ambrosia. This unique drink is normally served during parties, holidays, and other such celebrations. The production of ambrosia mead is one of the most traditional industries, one that everyone can respect. They're hard workers, and we appreciate their dedication to their craft.
White, I am sure to be interesting to hopefully have tours through Aravin's on station greenhouse where some of these delectable epoch flowers and hopefully some of the Hemoapedia hives will be managing to thrive successfully on station.
Sure, Lich, just rub it in that you can travel. Don't worry about old Calbrecht.
I do apologize. It's a manner of advertising for the station, as I do believe Airwind is also planning on being a sponsor as
Yeah,
well.
no, I'm sure it's a great station. I hope you enjoy.
Well, we'll sure to be able to get there after your upcoming court dates. finally today, I believe we have one last report coming from yourself, an update on the free agents program that you were investigating last month and have had plenty of time to begin some perhaps informal infiltration of with all of your downtime.
Yes, as reported last month, there has been an uptick in free agents roaming Beacon space, and this is obviously the lead-in to the one-shots that we would like to run in Beacon space. The players are going to be these free agents, which is inspired by Shadowrun, Blades in the Dark, that kind of thing. They're going to be the underbelly of society doing what the official factions cannot in exchange for an appropriate reward. The system that we've landed on using for it is the Cipher system, which is a setting agnostic D20 system where the GM actually doesn't roll, the player does all the rolling. It's based on difficulty and your character skills. It's an interesting system. You can look into it yourselves. Immediately after the stream, a sign-up sheet will be going up where you can put your Discord name, when you're usually available, and what kind of rating, as in if it was to be a TV or a film. If it was to be a TV show or a film, what kind of rating would you want your session to be? And further on that, if we do go to getting together, if you do go to being grouped with a group of players and setting up for a session, there'll be a further consent form to make sure that everyone's on the same page about what kind of content that they'd like in their one shot. And the session format is typically going to be a group of 3 to 5 players who are all representing different free agents with different abilities, specialties that have come together to do a job. So we'll be putting up the sign-up sheet. I hope that we get some interest and we can organize some one-shots in our setting that we've worked so hard on.
Yeah, it'll be great to see all of that come together. And they'll be run on the Discord channel, so if you're interested in playing in one, make sure you've joined in there, !Discord in the chat will bring up an invite link, or you can find it in the description of the YouTube video if you're watching the VOD. Cypher System looks quite a lot of fun, taking a look at it as well, and I'm excited to see what adventures these free agents get up to. We are planning, if the players in each individual one shot are fine with it, to record both the audio and the Roll20 instance running the game to potentially produce premiere video style versions of the RPG that would be broadcast here on this channel. Should everyone be fine with that, and we get to an end of a game and everyone is still happy with that being an outcome. That won't
Yeah,
be a requirement to play, so don't worry about it if you don't want yourself being on a video version on stream. That's totally cool. Any session you play in then just wouldn't be recorded and wouldn't be broadcast. We don't want that to be a barrier to entry, but if it's something people are interested in, um, seeing these sort of the post-produced shows go up in the future, for people who are fine with it, we want to have that option to help advertise the system and the world of Beacon Space itself.
yep. And with the West Marches style one shots, if you do play, hold on to your character sheet. You hold on to your XP and items and achievements, and you can be grouped in with different players and experience sessions with different people. We can tell some stories together. Should be fun. And
Yeah,
just another note on the cipher system. One of my favorite things about it is a character is defined by an adjective and then their class. So you'll be a clumsy soldier or a charismatic technician. It's a cool system. I'm looking forward to running it.
great. It looks like it'll be quite a lot of fun to run and to play in. As mentioned, Kelbrock's going to be the primary GM of these one shots to get everything started. So it'll be quite interesting to see what the first challenge and job that our free agents take. And um, probably regardless of the actual content being streamed, I'm sure you may see references to games that run and changes in the lore, either on this lore stream in perhaps the lower third scroll. May have a one-off line referring to a one-shot that was run that month, either a successful or unsuccessful job as the outcome may be, to sort of make ties to this system. And we'll be sure to have perhaps news reports overviewing the general system every so often as well to remind people about it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be fun tying it into both these lore streams and also the faction turns and making it all one big ecosystem. Everything interacting should be a good time.
Quite a lot of fun. Well, with that, I think the only thing we have left is some upcoming date announcements and reminders over the next couple of weeks. That takes care of all of the content we have for this stream. Again, we'd like to thank all the factions who submitted content, prepared documents, gave us all kinds of cool things to talk about. I'd like to thank everyone who's still responding to the questions from different TCGI individuals. We'll probably keep doing that as that section of the broadcast has become quite entertaining, and it's probably a way to start developing small pieces of lore that can give a better idea about a faction's culture and perhaps life on any one planet. That can sometimes be daunting to get started with on just sit down and write the history of the planet, or write some detailed geography outline of where city states are in relationship to each other. Just small things of paragraph or so in length, or even shorter, that help us establish an idea of what it may be like to be a member of one of these factions or to live on the different planets has been quite interesting to hear from. Upcoming important dates to be aware of, as I pull up my calendar here, is the upcoming faction turn. Faction turn 8, I believe, is next. Yep, because this is Lore Stream 8. The trade lock is on May 5th. Turn lock follows 24 hours later on May 6th, with the faction turn 8 taking place on May 8th, sometime in the afternoon. It may be slightly later than the original plan due to potential conflicts, but that weekend still works the best to run the event. I think that takes care of that. The next lore stream will be sometime after the faction turn. We'll get that date finalized and announced out over the next couple of days, and get all that information out to people on the Discord channel. So again, if you're not a member of that, go ahead and join. On it, you can join any one of the 9 factions and help develop the fun lore behind them, including content that's seen on these broadcasts. Anything
Yep.
else today, Kelberg?
No, nothing apart from once again thanking everyone who contributes to the lore streams, writing the lore for our setting. We know there's a lot of effort is put in. It's very high quality, always, and thank you to everyone who's contributed.
Well, thank you for joining in to our stream today. I've been Lichmaster98, the GM of the faction turn, as I'll have to start being very clear with, here for Beacon Space on Unrestricted Lorefare. Thanks for joining in.